I'm super excited to show you Armory's upcoming capabilities for deploying to AWS Lambda using its Armory Continuous Deployment as a Service offering. Here you can see I'm in a Lambda function that I have that's named potatoless facts. And if I click test, I can test this Lambda function. And as you can see, its response doesn't currently give me back any facts that are not discussing potatoes. It just gives me back a kind of generic response. So I want to ship a new version of this function. And I'm going to do that by coming over here to my Git repo and triggering a deployment. And just like with Kubernetes, you can trigger a deployment using our CLI, our GitHub action, or our Spinnaker plugin. And you just pass any of those, the configuration for your application's deployment, which typically lives in Git alongside your application's source code. You get back a URL that you can navigate to view the status of the application. So here we can see staging just finished deploying the Lambda function. We're now running some integration tests against it. Once that's done, we're going to move on to production 1 and production 2 after we give a manual approval. Now that staging has finished deploying, I can also come back over and I can test the new version of the application. So I'm going to go ahead and hit test. And as you can see, we now are able to see a fact that has nothing whatsoever to do with potatoes, since sweet potatoes are not a potato. Now that staging has finished deploying and we've confirmed that our application is behaving the way we expect it to, I'm going to go ahead and approve both of our production environments. They're going to move on and finish deploying as well. You can click into any of these environments for more information on what's going on. Similarly, the configuration looks quite like you're used to with Kubernetes. All of the configuration lives in that YAML file from the beginning. You can see here we're deploying a Lambda function named potatoless facts. You can see which targets we're deploying to, which AWS account they're on, as well as the list of constraints. So, for example, production required a manual approval and waited for staging to finish before it deployed. Similarly, down here we can see the list of artifacts that we are deploying, and I'm just pointing at some files that are sitting in S3, one per region. We do have plans to be adding native support for taking a raw zip file and uploading it to S3 as well. And similarly, we can specify the configuration of the Lambda function, and specifically the provider-specific settings that are not part of that zip file, so that Lambda knows how to handle that zip file. So that's pretty much all the configuration for what I showed you. And as you can see, it looks just like you're used to on Kubernetes. And this is going to become generally available at AWS reInvent this year. Looking forward to helping you ship some serverless.